let's go ahead and call the meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so we have a really full house tonight. Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
So we have one on Zoom, so do we have to do a roll call tonight or?
It's true.
I don't think we need a roll call. I think we have one member absent, so the council could make a motion to.
I'll move to excuse Scott Lee due to absence.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so then we have a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Doug?
Aye.
So-
Sorry, I can barely hear you guys.
All right, I'll speak. It sounds really loud to me, so I will get closer to the mic. The agenda is approved. Moving on to presentations, proclamations, and visitors. We'll be hearing from local volunteer groups in just a moment, but before we do that, are there any members of the audience or in Zoom that would like to provide comments on the items or subjects for the public hearing later in the meeting? There's none in the audience. Is there anyone on Zoom? So we have several service organizations here that volunteered at the Corn Festival, and we are going to give them an opportunity to tell a little bit about themselves and hand out some checks.
Yeah, thank you, council. I'm Ron Harding, City Administrator. So I get to lead this effort, which is a great reward for all the hard work that we've done preparing for Corn Festival and other city events. So my thought was to invite members tonight to give them their distribution from the funds we raised from the Corn Festival, but also I thought it would be good for council if each group would like to speak, they can. You're not obligated to, so don't feel bad if you don't come to the microphone. But I just wanted to give them an opportunity to say what the distributions mean to them. Oftentimes, small volunteer groups, like we're made up of a lot of small volunteer groups, have difficulty raising funds to be able to volunteer and put on the types of events that they do throughout the year. And so I thought it was a good opportunity for them to let you know that the process that we have of distributing funds from the proceeds really does have a positive impact that spreads throughout the community. So I'll just call each group up. You don't have to come if you don't want to, but you can go get your check at the counter. And then if everybody would stay, it would be great if after we're done with the presentation, if we could just get a big group photo with the council, if you don't mind. So the first group was Cascade School District. And we have somebody from Cascade School District here. And so I'll give you the mic.
Hello, my name is Zach Mintzer. I'm the principal at Aumsville Elementary. And every year we try to, as an admin staff, volunteer and help out at the Corn Festival. We've done a couple of different things, whether it be working the day of the festival, or this past year we did the bagging of corn. So it's something that we've enjoyed to do. We're going to open it up to the rest of our staff at Aumsville and hopefully district-wide in the future. So the way we use this money is we put it into what's called our student service fund, and we use that to just provide basic needs that kids might have or families might have throughout the year. So it could be anything like snacks or clothing or especially around this time of the year, some Christmas gifts for families, things like that. So thank you very much for everything.
There you go. Excellent. So that was great. I could give a list of some of the things that folks do. You don't have to give us a list of all the things that you do, but it's easier if the groups, if they want to say some of the things they might use the money for, that's great. So the next is the Aumsville Historical Society.
Hi, Ted Shepard, representing the Aumsville Historical Society. We started 2 years ago helping to bag corn. And it's been a lot of fun for the 12 or 14 members that show up. We've always opened up early and stayed later at the museum during the Corn Festival day. Usually running anywhere from about 25 to 40 visitors. So it's always a nice day to get people, and some people that come back to town for just this event that were raised in this area enjoy coming in and seeing us. So a little background history, just a few minutes, but we have had this museum in existence since 2009. The society's been in existence since 1995. And I joined in 1998. Been with them ever since. Told my wife when they elected me president, I maybe do it for a few years. So, no brag, just fact. I just started my 25th term. I almost worked with this as long as I worked at the post office. So a lot of fun. We do help appreciate the funds. We get, we of course have to pay rent for post office boxes, postage. We get paper supplies. We make a lot of copies for people, printing costs and things like that. We're trying to do a little computer upgrade stuff and keep things running so people can access some of our information. And we have about 60 members strong. Some of them are out of state, out of city, but they're supporting members. $10 a year, that's all it takes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to say that those volunteers do a lot with very little money in preserving our history, which is a really important part of our community. And Ted gives a report usually in January every year on the society. And yeah, their group spends very, very little, but they provide a great service in our community. All right, the next group up is the Aumsville Exchange Club. Just to give council a little history, when I got here 7 years ago, we didn't have an organized community service group. We had groups, various groups did community service, and one of the goals to accomplish was to get a service group started that people could join, and the Exchange Club was the one we were able to get, and it's made up of members in our community, and they really, really do a lot. I think they volunteered somewhere around 1,300 hours on community events last year.
Hello, my name is Debbie Denton. I'm president of Exchange Club. We're grateful for this community of have us coming out and do hours for them. We do some more funds. We use it for sponsoring a family for Christmas. We do a Christmas store every year. And we say, we appreciate sorry. We appreciate the city for sharing their funds with us. Thank you.
And I think I'm just going to keep rattling off random bits of information, but the first year we did corn bagging on Friday. The idea behind that was to lower the number of needed volunteers for Saturday instead of doing all of it on the same day. And I think the first year we had about 20 volunteers, and we didn't get it all bagged, but we got a good portion bagged. Last year we had 69 volunteers on Friday, and we bagged it all within 2 hours. And I see many of the faces here that bagged, and it was a lot of work. I mean, they really worked for that 2.5 hours. But I was so proud of them because it was all bagged and it was put away safely. and we didn't have to worry about it on Saturday. All right, so our next group is Saniam Service Integration Team. Is there anybody from Saniam? No, okay. I'll just say a couple of words about this. We call it the sit here. They were helping an Aumsville family today, and I was working with them, and they help folks all in the area. A lot of what they do is connect people to resources, but they do take these charitable funds and they help folks that are struggling with medical conditions or just a specific need that they might have that might not fit within a program somewhere. And they do a lot of that. They just really do a lot. And typically the integration team provides the most volunteers. They're part of the Saniam Hospital network. And so they're usually kind of our go-to group for shucking corn. And that's a lot of work on Saturday because you're shucking all day. But they do that, get rid of the waste products and get the corn shucked, and they just help out tremendously. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and call up the next one. So we're fortunate this year. We actually had 3 Girl Scout troops. There's a lot of Girl Scout troops, and they do a lot. They do a lot in our community, and I think sometimes they're kind of under the radar screen. So I'm proud that they're here tonight. But we have somebody from Troop 10770. All right.
Okay, so hi there. My name is Jennifer Majors, and I'm just one of the troop leaders for Troop 10770. And these are just a few of our girls. We have 20 altogether, but not everybody can make it tonight. And our age range is from kindergarten up until 7th grade. And we were just so excited to help out at the Corn Festival this year. It was so much fun. The girls did a float, and then we also did helping with the corn, baking the corn, of course, and it was a lot of fun. And so in Girl Scouts, all the activities we do are girl-led, which means the girls choose, what activities they want to do, what kind of community service projects they'd like to do. And so this money will go toward simple things as simple as purchasing badges or supplies, materials for crafts, all the way up until travel. So the girls we've gone on a lot of trips. We've been to Great Wolf Lodge. We went camping over the summer. This summer was our really big, we tried to catch up from COVID. So we did camping, and then we went to Great Wolf Lodge. So it was a lot of fun. Did you guys want to share anything of what your favorite part? No. I'm like, you might talk, but it's okay. So, yeah, so thank you so much. And like I said, we're just one of the troops. So, I'm just grateful to be here.
So I was so proud of the little girls that came to help out at bagging corn, and they worked the whole time. Adults had to take rests, but I think those little girls worked the whole time, and they were loading up tarps with corn, and they were just having a good time, and it was nice to see. All right, our next group up is Troop 11890.
Sure. So I'm Maggie. I'm in Troop 11890. I'm a cadet, and this money will go towards some of our trips and like funding them, and also giving us a lot of new learning opportunities and some more experience with the world. Oh, we also do service projects for the communities. The most recent one we did was a cake kit where we put like a box of cake mix and then frosting and sprinkles, and then like a can of like Sprite or something, and that would go to all the kids who didn't have cake kits or cakes for their birthday.
And those were donated to the Cascade Family Services Center at Aumsville Elementary. You know anybody that needs any? They have like 60 of them. Oh, wow. Thank you.
I'm Courtney, and it also goes towards our big awards, like our bronze award, our silver award, and our gold award. So like it's our helps fund it, yeah.
Good job.
Excellent. All right, and then our final Girl Scout troop is 31890.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Vaney, and I have been in Girl Scouts since I was 5 years old, and now I'm a freshman at Cascade High School. We have girls from the elementary school, Aumsville, and also from State and High School. And this money will be going towards the other volunteering we're going to be doing around our community. We have planned to, what have we planned to do?
Well, why don't you say the newest one they just finished up?
Oh, we just finished making stockings for the Staten Teen Center. And so we made about 25 of them, I think. And we're gonna be donating them there. And
We donated.
oh, and we also are donating toys to Dornbeckers because we weren't able to donate the stockings there. So we donated the toys there.
So also, I just wanted to add that last year we did the bagging of the corn and we also helped on the day of the corn festival. And this year we kind of had a new experience because we were actually doing like the buttering of the corn and the handing out of the corn. And I didn't realize how much work it really was. And it was a really great experience. We stayed a little longer than we had planned to because they needed the extra help at that time. So we kind of stuck out most of the day, and it was really great just seeing everybody and feeding everybody the corn. And we also helped out the day before and did the bagging of the corn and stuff too. So it was really great. It's a good experience for the girls. We've done a few trips this year, but we try to focus a lot on the community and giving back to the community. So.
So I just have to make sure I beat the drum a little bit here. The Girl Scouts also helped with Easter. They helped do Easter eggs, and they stuff all the eggs that we hand out. I think we give out, it's a few thousand eggs, and somebody has to put the candy in all the eggs. I think helped out at the Christmas store. We had some Girl Scouts there with that. They just do a lot throughout the year. Sometimes you don't think about all the things that you do necessarily, but we just have a very great Girl Scout community here. And then Marion County Search and Rescue are here. I think I saw somebody here from Marion County. There we go. And we tried something a little bit different. It actually worked out, I think, better for parking. We just went to a donation-based parking, and I think the parkers enjoyed it better. I think the people enjoyed it better. And I think it was less stressful on everybody. And they've been doing handling the parking the last few years, and they've just done an excellent job for us.
Good evening. Thanks, Ron. Mike Quisenberry here representing Marion County Search and Rescue. Our group is a all volunteer nonprofit organization, and opportunities like this allow us to connect with our community, earn some money because it's our sole source of income to pay for gear, to go help rescue people, to provide training opportunities for our members. One of the best things about having the opportunity to come and help with parking is we have a youth team that we do 14 to 18-year-olds. And it's a really good way for them to have that interpersonal communication practice and talking to all the patrons and asking for a donation. And it's a great opportunity. We enjoy it every year. It's a lot of long work. It's hot time of the summer. But we couldn't be as productive as we are out in the wilderness without the opportunity to help out the Corn Festival. So thank you very much.
And you know, the Corn Festival, it's a kind of a 2-day event because we do stuff on both Friday and Saturday, but the Corn Festival itself is a 1-day event. And I think we had close to about 200 plus volunteers last year altogether. And that's not enough because we still seem to fall behind of providing services to the community on that day, either, you know, with the corn cooking and shucking and all that. There's just a lot to do. And so we need more volunteers. We started this redistribution of funds raised because we thought we could marry both helping out local service groups with, you know, something that they can volunteer but get a little bit of funds back to help with their mission, but also to use it as an incentive to get people to want to volunteer and to bring more volunteers to the table. And so bring more people, sign more people up next year. We'd love to have it, and it makes everybody's work easier. So now I think if we can just invite everybody, and I think just everybody can come up. Let's all just gather in front of the council here, and we'll do a quick picture with the elected officials if you guys don't mind. Did everybody get a check? All right. And council, why don't you come around the front too, and we'll get gathering on the sides. Kind of work towards the back there. So, there we go.
Yeah, that's true.
My eyes
The backup plan.
Did you say I got height? Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Doug's having trouble hearing, so if you can talk like the mic a bit more, that might help. Is there a way to turn up the volume?
Well, these ones here, if you turn it up too high, then it starts. They really just need to get closer.
You want me to tell everybody?
We're looking to get some areas put in. The vendor hasn't got.
Good to see you, sir. Appreciate you.
Oh, okay.
And then there were few.
I guess I probably should have said something through all my little tidbits, but we gave away tonight $18,000 in proceeds from the Corn Festival, and that's a lot of money. The Corn Festival is really doing well as far as raising money and managing the amount of resources that we have and still making a very nice event for the community.
Okay, moving on to item number 3, consent agenda. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Consent agenda is approved. Moving on to item number 4. Okay, the council will now open up a public hearing on Pacific Corp franchise extension. The hearing is open at 7:27 PM. We invite Ron to present on the staff report.
So this is an extension to our Pacific Corp franchise agreement. We're in the process of rewriting a new franchise agreement as the current agreement expired or will expire at the end of the year. And we haven't quite finished rewriting the new agreement. And so we just asked council to approve ordinance 723, which just extends the franchise for a 1-year period. And during that time, we can get the new franchise agreement redrawn. Council had previously extended this particular franchise last year because we were in the same position. And at the time, we did not have a franchise attorney on staff. We were in between franchise attorneys. And we really were uncomfortable rewriting the franchise agreement in its entirety without a franchise attorney on staff. And so this year we did get one on board, as you know, because you've done the work. We've had a lot of franchises being renewed this year. And so this one was one that seemed to be a little bit more complicated, and it's just been taking a little longer than the others. But in the interest of preserving the franchise, we don't want it to expire. So if council, after they're close the public hearing and deliberate, if they choose that this is a worthy extension, and this is an ordinance, it will take 2 readings. Happy to answer any questions.
Is there anyone in the audience or in Zoom that has any comments to submit about this? Is there any additional staff comments? I will now close the public hearing at 7:29 PM. Is there any council deliberation? Seeing none, is there a motion?
I move to approve the first reading by title only of ordinance number 723, an ordinance extending the franchise granted to Pacific Core DBA Pacific Power via ordinance 619, declaring an emergency as presented by staff.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
I'll move to approve the second reading by title only and adopt ordinance number 723, an ordinance extending the franchise granted to Pacific Corp doing business as Pacific Power via ordinance 619, declaring an emergency as presented by staff.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to agenda item 5, old business. There is no old business. Agenda item number 6, new business. We will move on to 6A. Resolution 12-23, adopting a safety policy for system development charges calculations. Ron, go ahead.
So this is an action we're taking based on House Bill 2984. There were a number of House bills that will have or will impact the city in the coming years. And in this particular one, there's been a lot of effort on the side of the legislature to try to look for ways to stimulate new housing or affordable housing. And a lot of the bills and their approach is to look for ways to provide incentives. And in this particular bill, I believe if you're a city over a population of 10,000 or greater, and you have redevelopment into housing in your commercial corridor, if you don't adopt a specific policy by December 31st of this year, you cannot charge system development charges for that redevelopment. For us, we want to protect our system development charges because, as you know, we're struggling with critical infrastructure needs, much of which are mandated by the state and federal government. And the mechanism to pay is impact to the system, which is what a system development charge is. Council also has adopted an overall growth should pay for growth policy. And so in that spirit, we felt adopting this policy tonight was the best course of action. Now, we do not have a population over 10,000. However, as you'll see with a coming action, there was also another House bill that was adopted a few years ago. And a new bill that was adopted this year reduces the population threshold on that bill from 10,000 to 2,500. And so this is the problem with not adopting the policy is we just don't know when the legislature will make this retroactive. And if we don't get in under the deadline, we may lose that ability. So we felt it was safer tonight to adopt the policy to maintain our growth should pay for growth policy. And so it's a cautionary adoption, but if council has any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
So my understanding is that this motion will allow us to continue to charge SDCs. Because if we get over 10,000, we might lose the opportunity to do so, and we would have to absorb those costs.
Yes, for certain types of developments within the community. And again, the difficulty is we don't know when the legislature is going to change those particular thresholds or even the types of developments that they'll allow.
And this doesn't change what we can charge.
The only thing this says is we have a policy that says when development comes in to the community, they have to offset their impacts to the system by paying in their fair share of system development charges.
Are there any questions from council? Is there a motion?
I move to approve resolution number 1223, adopting a specific policy for system development charges calculations in connection with commercial to residential conversions as required by House Bill 2984 as presented by staff.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item 6B is, I'm going to say this name wrong, Della, R.L. Reimer's contract for water storage tank and pump station improvements. We'll invite staff to come and do the report.
Good evening, Matt Etzel, Assistant Public Works Director. So in front of you is the contract for the water storage tank and pump station project. You guys have seen this contract a couple times. It was in the bidding documents. It was in last month's council packet for awarding the contract. Since you guys are the contract review board, the contract's in front of you for review. We are still working on contractor signatures and bond paperwork, and once we get that, we'll have West Tech review it, and then the city will execute the contracts if council's okay with that.
I don't
If
have
there's any questions, yeah.
No questions? Okay.
Move to approve the RL Reimer contract for the water storage tank and pump station project as presented by staff.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to 6C. The utility rate study. Ron?
Excellent. So as council knows, we've had a lot of challenges and none more challenging than our new wastewater treatment facility. Not sure what that is, but I'll keep going. And as council knows, we've been able to acquire a little over $16 million of our $28 million project through grants, loan forgiveness, and saved funds that the city's been able to accumulate. But there's going to be about $11 million in low interest loans that we'll need to acquire as part of that. And the process that we're going to go through, or we're about to undertake, because after the first of the year, we're going to rev this project up a little bit, is we'll have to get one source of funding for construction. And once the project is complete, then the current USDA funding will kick in and provide the long-range funding for the project. And one of the things that we felt we should do just from a due diligence standpoint was to hire a company that specializes in debt service rate studies for cities and utilities to be able to come to council and let you know, what does that look like? We know what the bulk numbers are. And we've got some general rough ideas of what a future rate might look like. But we want to have something that's a little more defined that we can then communicate to the public, this is what it looks like, right? And so we put out a informal request for proposals. There's not a lot of companies that specialize in this, but the one company that we were impressed with that has a great reputation in this area is FCS. And I've actually worked with them before. They've worked on many utility rate analysis. And I think their representative, Angela Sanchez, is here tonight, and she's happy to answer any questions. If you're supportive, we'd like to award this contract. It's for $22,780. And basically what that will get us is that complete rate study with both the ratepayer adjustments and factoring in the long-term debt. And they really do a comprehensive review of our system. So happy to answer any questions. Angela, I know you're on the line. Would you like to add anything?
I am. I think you did a fantastic job in terms of what the overall project proposal was. Again, just briefly, it is to create a financial plan for the wastewater system. There are a number of different needs coming up. So you have existing needs, operating costs, capital costs, et cetera, but also based on timing, trying to figure out what the best and optimal timing is when each of those particular obligations will come due. What overall revenue needs do we have during that given year? And are our existing revenues sufficient to cover that? Or do we need to potentially make some type of rate adjustment with a workable rate path for the community that it serves? And so that is the overall obligation. Also leaving you with a financial planning tool set, so you will be able to have this tool available to the cities to plan for the future, also to continue to monitor and make sure that the rate path and plan are doing their job.
All right, if council has any questions, we're happy to answer, but I really feel like this will give us a great communication tool with some information that we can then use to distribute to the community about the project. And the timing is such that we really should be working in this arena, because we're going to be coming right after the first of the year with a contract forward for 100% design. That's going to be completed within this year. And that means we're going to be out to bid and into construction probably within 16, 18 months. So, we're working on an accelerated schedule. We're trying to meet all the deadlines that's been put in front of us, and things are going to happen quick.
I just want to summarize my understanding in simpler terms so that when the community watches or reads the minutes.
Yeah.
This motion is for a third party to come in and do a utility study on our water, our sewer services, based on the funding that we have and the loans that we would have to take out, to give us a better idea of what the rate would be after the new wastewater facility goes in.
Yes, that's
Okay.
yeah, but at a summary, yes. The internal functions, we've been skirting around the edges. If you read the proposal, there's a lot of work that goes into that.
Yes, there is.
And
That's
a
why I
lot
said
of
I just
them-
want to summarize it so that when
Yeah.
people come back and.
Yeah. And I think it's important for us to have a group that specializes in this to talk about what our rates look like. It's an outside group. They have no stake. They're going to get paid regardless of what the numbers are. And I just think it's a better communication tool for us to have somebody with Angela's experience and wealth to be able to communicate that to us. And then, we can transcribe that in our post or, different information back to the community.
Are there any questions from council? Thank you, Angela. I appreciate your comments and feedback. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the FCS group utility rate forecasting proposal as presented by staff.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Excellent. Thank you.
Moving on to item number 7, city administrator report.
All right. I feel like we've done so much business here. I really don't have a lot to add. I will say that Saturday was a great event. It was our Christmas in the Park event. It started the morning with Santa visits throughout the city with the Santa parade, handing out the little gift bags to kids in the community, and then culminating at night with our program and food and tree lighting in the park. I was super busy. It was my intent to get out and actually see the event in action in live stream, but I never left my post at the food line. And so it's just sometimes the way it works, at our events. But it was a great event. It looked like people were having a good time. We had lots and lots of great positive feedback. I don't think we got one negative comment from anybody. We've had lots of thank yous, and we couldn't do it without our volunteers, the people that sign up to help us. All of you are in this room, but a bunch of them left earlier, and more. We just have a lot of people in the community that will give back and volunteer, and it makes an event like that easier. Because we're serving more and more people, the events are getting more and more challenging, but we're able to do it. I think it was a great event. So see, from that, I'll just go ahead and point in your packet. You have a police report. I know that got out late, but you do have that. There was an incident at the area schools today. I think most of you are aware of that. I won't go into details, but when our officers were responding, one of our officers got in a vehicle accident. And so one of our cars are severely damaged. The officer, I don't think had serious injuries, but I haven't gotten an update. They went to get checked out. So I just let you know that, FYI. The incident at school, they ended up dismissing the schools early. They think this was some sort of a cyber perhaps some sort of a cyber threat that got launched on a lot of schools in the area. So we don't think the kids were in any danger. It was really more of a disruption type of an event. But these are the types of things, these are the serious consequences that can happen, even if somebody's just doing a, idle threat. So unfortunately, your public works report is in your packet. Our public works department works so hard. We're limited on the amount of staff people that we have, and they worked all week for our Christmas in the Park event. And, the event itself takes a lot, but leading up to the event takes a lot. And they did a great job. So I just want to give them kudos. All of our staff, I mean, they just work hard to make the events as enjoyable as possible for the community. Also in your packet, you will see a system development charge report. One of the things we're required to do by law is to provide a report to the council on our system development charge funds, what we've spent throughout the year, and those balances. So those are in your packet. Hopefully you've had a chance to review those. And then I would like to introduce, because some council members haven't met, Celia. She is interviewing us possibly for a position. So I like to say that she's actually working at the city under temporary employment status, but I think we put on a good enough show. I don't know yet, but you could tell that she is fitting in really well by the joke that she told here a few minutes ago about my height. So she's doing really well. Yeah. We can't publicly say that. So. No, all of our staff are really doing a good job. We are doing a lot of work. We're all wearing many hats, and they are just, if I had to summarize the year, I'd say I feel like we're in one of the best positions as far as our staff are just all working well together, and it's just been enjoyable. It's just been an enjoyable year. Next year, we've got a lot planned. Typically, we try to fit a potluck in. We weren't able to pull that off this week for council. Usually there's a end of the year potluck that we try to host for the council. We're hoping to do that at the first meeting in January. And that's just an appreciation for what you do for our community throughout the year. I know sometimes we thank staff for a lot of the work that they do, and staff would like to thank you for a lot of the work that you do. If we can do a joint potluck with the Planning Commission, we'll try to set that up for you as well. We'll have, like you've heard, we're going to have some big contracts coming forward right after the first of the year. And then, of course, our state of the city usually is the second meeting. And with that, happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I don't have any questions. Moving on to councilor and mayor reports. Does anyone have anything to report?
That is going to be meeting in January. Hopefully, they've put us off 2 months now on adding Aumsville to the metropolitan transportation planning. And so the city of Salem mayor and councilor are supposed to be there. They really want to change it. So there's a weighted vote based on population, which pretty much nixes Turner and Aumsville and a lot of Kaiser. No one else there wants to do this. But we do have that difference coming up, and Salem is not willing to add us to it as required until they get the answers that they really want. So they're holding us hostage.
So we did send in a statement on that. Where that we voiced our concerns.
Yes, we prepared a statement. We haven't
Oh, you
sent
haven't
it
sent
yet
it?
because
Okay.
we were waiting for Mayor and our representative on the MPO to comment on it. We've got those comments back. So if you would like us to go ahead and officially send that, we're
Yes,
happy to
please.
do that.
And I know that Council President Sini attends those meetings, but I'm going to attend that meeting just for support on that one coming up in January. Mayor reports. I've had a busy month, guys. It's the holidays and gosh, I don't even know where to begin. So I volunteered and made an appearance. I didn't volunteer. I made an appearance down here for the Santa's gift shop. And I believe the Exchange Club helped over 70 children shop for their parents. And it was just some of the gifts there. I wish my kids were still little. There were some really nice things. Oh, yes, I did wash dishes. I did volunteer. Yes. And we need better sponges, Ron. Better sponges. I also was invited to the elementary school to give 15 minutes on how to explain to third graders about city government. That was really hard, but I love children and they're so excited. And I didn't get the opportunity to do it last year, so I cleared my calendar to make sure I was there this year and dropped off a whole bunch of bookmarks and candies and stickers because kids love swag too. Also, we were invited to help out with the holiday events. So I thought I could make the whole day with Santa visits at the fire department and with the police department. I lasted till noon and I was done. I was cold, I was tired, and I bailed out. And I have a better appreciation for that event. There's so much work that goes into that. And the community lines up on the streets to meet Santa. And there was a couple times I was just in tears watching these little kids jump up and down for joy and tackle Santa and give him hugs. Next year, I think I will volunteer to fill the goodie bags instead of go out with them. What else? I met with Blazer Industries. They talked to me about the modular housing fund to help with low-income housing. It was a very wonderful presentation. They have some goals. They're our biggest employer or one of our biggest employers for the town. So I think that's correct. If they're able to get that, that would provide some expansion and possibly more jobs to the community and not just Aumsville, but like surrounding community. I visited the school and met with the food and nutrition program and was enlightened about just how much debt our community has. It affects our town residents being able to feed the children at the school. And that was a very heartbreaking conversation. So if people are looking to donate to something, it's not something people think about, but the school could use some help. I'm going to be attending an open house with Congressman Selena on the 19th, I believe it is.
I'll be going to that too.
Yes. I met with the chambers and I can't read my own handwriting. I did something else, but I don't remember what it was.
The local real estate network
Yes.
presentation.
Thank you. Staff put together a wonderful presentation that Ron and I presented jointly for the State of the Canyon, and we talked about what makes Aumsville a great place to live and all the challenges that we face. And I think we did a really good job. Staten was there, Mill City was there. There was a whole bunch of, I don't know who else was there, but it was interesting to see that we all have the same struggles in the area. And staff did a wonderful job. Thank you. We got lots of compliments on the presentation. I'm pretty sure I did something else, but I don't know what it was. I can't remember right now. That's a busy month. That was all this month. So
I have an announcement to make that I forgot last month. Bethel Baptist is opening January 11th, the Aumsville Community Food Pantry at Bethel. It is a community-wide volunteer base, and they're housing it at our ministry center there. And we have an open house on January 9th from 2 to 4 for anyone that would like to attend. We will be doing a dedication and a ribbon cutting ceremony with Angie. And we will be starting on the 11th. Right now, we're set up to do the second and fourth Thursdays from noon to 4. And we have so many volunteers that have stepped up. We have like 25. And we have most of them trained now, and they will give us enough workers that in a month or so later, we'll be adding a third Thursday and a month or so later. And the reason for those is that the food bank has to gear up to have enough food for us. They'll be adding the first and fifth Thursdays. So within 3 to 4 months, we will be working every week with.
So the food bank really is a community food bank. It took several phone calls to get that. So when it shut down, we weren't really well informed. And we didn't know how to get that back up and running and who to take that on. So it took a lot of phone calls, a lot of networking, a lot of planning, and the community really did come together, and I really appreciate that. Anything else? Let's see, moving on to good of the order. Is there anything else for good of the order?
I have something for good of the order. Ron and Kirsty up front, please.
You're in trouble now.
We have some congratulations cards for the two of you for earning your International City County Manager certification and your city administrator degree. And there's cheesecake in the refrigerator. Thank you.
Good job, Ron. Good job. Correspondence. There are no correspondence. There is no executive session, so I will go ahead and end the meeting at 7:57 p.m.